There are four collection data types in the Python programming language. We have list, tuple, sets, and dictionary. The most simple one is a list, which is simply a collection which is ordered and it is also changeable. It even allows for duplicate members. Tuple is very similar to a list, the difference being that the values are not changeable, so they remain unchangeable. A set is again a collection which is unordered and it is unindexed and it does not have any duplicate members. And finally, you have a dictionary which is unordered, it is changeable, and it is indexed. It will become clearer when we do the examples. So we'll start with the list and I'll take a very simple example. Let's create a list. So I will say that this list is equal to, we have to put it inside square brackets. So inside square bracket, you will have to write the different items that you want. So we want apple, banana, and let's say cherry. And now inside our square brackets, we have these three items that we have put. So if we print this list, then the result will come as apple, banana, and cherry. Now imagine you want to access a specific item from this list. To do this, we can write print this list and then we write the number that we want. So if we put 1, then the results come as banana. Remember, the index would start at 0. So if you wanted the first item, you have to put the number as 0. You also have negative indexing, something we have already done earlier. So if we want the last item, another way to do that would be to put, let's say, -1, and that will give you the last item. If you want to range, let's first create a larger list of items. So let me add a few more. So we add an orange, then we have a kiwi, and then we want to keep a melon and a mango, right? So we have these 7 items with us, and now we can say print this list, and we put a range with a colon, so 2:5, and the result comes as the third, fourth, and the fifth item. Remember, the index starts at 0, so 2 would be cherry, 3 will be orange, and the fourth would be kiwi. Even though we have put the number 5, the result will only be 2, 3, and 4. The last item is never shown, which means that 2 is included, but 5 is not included. If you want to show all the items right from the beginning, we can write print and then this list 2: without any end number, and this will return the entire list as it is, starting from the second position, which is the third item. You can also do this with a negative index. So if you want to find a range with a negative index, we can write print this list and let's say -4:-1, and this will result in, starting from -1, we have orange, kiwi, and melon. This would be orange, kiwi, and melon, like this. Let's see how we can change any one of these items. So we say that our list, which is this list, is equal to apple and then a banana and a cherry. And then we say that this list, and then in square brackets, we put number 1 is equal to something else. And now when we print the list once again, you notice that the list has the new item that has replaced the first position. You can also loop through a list. For example, if we have a list with 3 items in it, we can say for x in this list. Remember, the x is just a name to the variable we have given. I could have written absolutely anything that we wanted. And then we say print x. This means that we will get a different value for every single item. So we get, let me just check. Okay, so we need a colon here. And we get apple, banana, and cherry in different lines. If you want to check if an item exists, this is what you do. We have a list, and I say that if apple in this list, print yes, and the result comes as yes. If you were choosing a different item, let's say, then this time you notice that the result would not have come as a yes. Finding the list length is also very simple. We can simply write print length. So it is an inbuilt method, and this will tell us that there are 3 items in our list. Now let's say we want to add another item to our list. For this, we say this list dot append, and I can add an item at the end. And when we print it again, you notice that this time 4 items will be shown. But imagine you wanted to add the item in between 2 items and not at the end. To do this, we can use this list dot insert. And this time what will happen is that when I say 1, comma, and then we say print this list, you notice that we get apple, and then in the first position we will get orange, then banana and cherry. To remove, again, there are different options. If we have a list with us, we can simply say this list dot remove, and then we can give the item name, and this will delete that particular item that we have written. But there is another way of doing this. We can use a method called pop. So when we say this list dot pop, and then we find the print of this list, you notice that it removes the last item. If you want to specify the index, you can even specify the index inside. For example, if we say 1, it only removes the first item, which is banana, like this. Another method to remove an item would be to use delete, which would be del. So we can write del this list, and then you put the position. So if I put 0 and we print this list, we will not have the first item. If you want to delete the entire list, you can do that too. Here you don't have to put any index number. You simply write del this list, and 1 second. Okay, so exactly. So it says that this list is not defined, which means that that entire list has been removed. And if you want to empty a list, you don't want to delete it, which means that in this case, you notice the variable called this list was also deleted. We don't want that. And for this, we can write this list dot clear, and this means that the items from the list will be removed, but the variable name called this list will still remain. Obviously, there'll be no item inside it. Now we can also copy a list simply by typing the new list name equal to the old list name. So if I say that this list is equal to 3 items, and then we say that my list is equal to this list dot copy, and then I print my list, you notice that we get the same items, which means that the values from this list have been copied into my list. There is another method to do this. You can even write my list is equal to list, and then you put the old name, which is this list. Both of these give you the same result. It's just a matter of personal choice which one you want to use. You might even want to join two lists. So let's say list 1 is equal to A, B, and C, and then we have list 2 which is equal to three numbers. So let's say 1, 2, and 3. And if I want to join them into a third list called list number 3, we can simply say list 1 plus list 2, and then when we print it, it gives us the combined list, which is ABC and 1, 2, 3. There is another way to do it by appending all the items from list 2 into list 1, one by one. It's just a slightly more complicated approach, but when you want to run a loop, this might be very handy. So we can say for X in list number 2, which means that we want to take all the items from list 2 one by one, and then we want to append it to list number 1. So now when we print list 1, you notice that it has not created a third list, but the three items from list number 2 have been added to list number 1. Another way to do this is to use the extend function. So we can say list1.extend, and we can add list 2 here. And when we print list 1, you get the same answer as earlier. Okay, now sometimes you will see that people have used something called a list constructor, even though it's not very common. If I say this list, earlier I told you have to put it inside brackets, square brackets, but you can also write it like this. You can say list and then write, let's say apple, and then banana, and then we have, let's say mango. And when you print this list, you get the same result despite the fact that we have not used square brackets. So there are different methods available. This is a list of the built-in methods. So we have append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, and sort. In the next lecture, we will see how we work with tuples.